Welcome to the second part of this series on how to practice the drums to get the fastest progress. It's not about what exactly you should learn, but how you can practice what you want to work on more effectively. All of these systems in this series can be applied to all kinds of musical genres and playing styles, so it doesn't matter whether you're a beginner, an advanced player, a professional, or a drum teacher. The first episode was about the fact that you can practice the most important quality of us drummers with every exercise you do. Namely, no matter what happens, even if you make a mistake, to stay in the flow. That means keep playing and not lose the beat, the pulse. And this episode is about how you train and maintain exactly this pulse, this beat, simply good timing. And this trick sounds trivial, but believe me, it's incredibly effective. It's the absolute secret weapon. Hopefully it will no longer be a secret soon, and many of my drum teacher colleagues confirm the efficacy of this tip. And the tip is, count out loud. Counting will bring you many advantages on various levels. On the one hand, you can use it to measure whether you are playing correctly. This means that if you count out loud, you can always compare what you are playing with your counting. I would like to clear up a misunderstanding right from the start. Something that happens very often is that you count as fast as you play.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and...
This is like shooting an arrow and then drawing the target around it. Or it's like you're late, so you just stop the clock and reverse it. That doesn't make the situation any better, and you have set the clock wrongly. I said in the first episode, it's very important that we keep the time, keep the flow of the tempo if we play a song, especially when we play together with other musicians. And by counting out loud, we practice this and immediately notice when we lose the beat. But we have to play as fast as we count, not the other way around. If we make a mistake, we still keep counting steadily. It takes a bit of practice, but funnily enough, it has an interesting side effect. Counting becomes your fifth limb. It's like jogging with extra weights. That means it's an even more effective independence workout. So we deepen our coordination training while at the same time deepening our awareness of timing.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and...
But so that you are able to do exactly that, to play as fast as you count, and above all to keep counting stable, we need support. And there, as always, our best friend is the metronome. You should count as fast as the metronome tells you, and then play as fast as the counting tells your limbs.
1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1.
At some point, you should also switch off the metronome so that you can learn to generate the pulse yourself. You then play in unison with yourself much better than if you always relied on this external stimulus of the metronome. Incidentally, this is one of the basic principles behind Benny Grebb's language of drumming system. I highly recommend the book and also the DVD. It is incredibly good for training counting and timing awareness. So we have to practice counting first. But after that, it's the ultimate magic bullet. I promise you. I've always experienced this with my students or at workshops. If you have actually worked on counting out loud, and the keyword is loud, you really have to be able to hear yourself doing it, then it usually gets better all of a sudden, because counting also shines a bright light on the topic of timing in the first place. That's why I always say counting out loud also improves awareness of timing and rhythm. But there are two ways of counting. The one thing that is mainly done in, for example, language of drumming is to count the pulse, the main beat, mostly the quarter notes, if it's very fast, the half notes, and for very slow tempos, maybe the eighth notes. The second option would be to count the subdivisions, that is, the individual note values that we actually play. Both are important tools, and we should use both because they are good for different things. Counting the pulse helps us keeping the tempo in general. That means that we are not going faster or slower. It's also a great metric to gauge how well you have learned something. Can you still play it if you count the quarter notes out loud? If not, practice until you can do so, because we should be able to play everything in relation to the pulse. Benny Grebb says if something does not sound good, if we can't play it yet, then it's often just that we have lost our pulse. Sometimes you get so distracted with so many notes to play that you can't focus on the big picture of the beat. However, we should always be able to continue to control the beat in whatever we play. If we don't, then whatever we play is kind of useless, because whenever we play music, we do have a beat in most cases, in nearly all the cases. And if we can't control the beat, then we lose the value of whatever we are playing. Because in the end, the big picture is what matters. Playing a short rhythm perfectly in itself doesn't matter if you have lost control of the beat or the tempo. Counting each subdivision helps when practicing a difficult section slowly and precisely. If we zoom in, for example, during a difficult reading exercise, I would first count it out to myself. There are two variants again. One is really counting exactly what you play. This way you really tell it to yourself, so to speak.
1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4. 1 E and 2, 3 E and 4 and 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1, 2, 3 and 4.
And the other variant with which you train precision above all is to consecutively count the smallest note value that occurs in this rhythm. For example, if you play an exercise in which 16th notes occur, then you count 16th notes the whole time, no matter what you play.
3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and.
Imagine you want to make a very precise geometric drawing. Then of course you use graph paper, because where you have to enter very fine gradations, the paper helps you and it does not interfere with the bigger ones. If in doubt, you can even be a little bit more precise. This means that when you count your 16th, you might even play the quarter notes a little bit more precisely, because the grid with which you use for measurement here is much finer. I like to put it this way. If we count the 16th notes, for example, we put the millimeters on our ruler and check very carefully whether everything fits. And when we count the quarters, then put on the centimeters, or the inches if you like, and see everything in correct relation.
And the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and
I would always start a difficult exercise by counting the finest divisions very precisely, looking where the strokes should be exactly, and then counting just the rhythm I play when I have understood it. And then, once that's understood, I would go to the pulse. I would count the quarter notes, or depending on how fast it is, the eighth or the half notes. So you tie what you're playing into the flow of the tempo or the song.
1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1.
And I have to end by emphasizing again, it's that important. The pulse has to be there first. You have to count first, and then you play in relation to it, and you don't count as fast as you play. Otherwise, this principle just won't work. So, I hope this video has helped you. If so, you should definitely subscribe now and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and share this video with others who might also be interested. And if you want to help me make more videos for you, you should check out my Patreon page. The link is also in the description. You can support me there and get something back from me. You can even take part in an exclusive all-day workshop with me once a year. I hope to see you on the next one or see you in the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.